Come on in. Yep. Let me admit all the people coming in. I was doing some push-up. Yeah, ready? Come on in. Note takers to the front of the line. Gar, I did that song thing that you showed me.
Fantastic.
That's pretty wild. Just that amount of creativity that comes out of AI. Got people coming in. See Rob, Jared, Jerry. Some note takers. Manuel Wales coming in, our tax specialty expert. Big day. We're going to talk about money. All right. Yeah. Okay. I was literally doing push-ups to get the blood going, so be careful. All right. For me, a whole set of push-ups is about 10.
Just do 10 sets.
Yeah, plus a few minutes between. Back in the old days, right? Back in the old days. We're going to launch. I'm going to move. There we go. Got Jeff coming in. Right. And we're a small enough group where if you want to go off mic, you can do so. That way you can interact more naturally. You got background noise, construction, dogs, probably better to mute, that kind of stuff. My son's dog is here today, he's leaving the Army, so he's moving from Houston back to DC. And so we got his dog, and man, she's active. One of those Belgian Malinois, so nonstop.
Malinois is the definition of activity, fella.
Yeah, big time, right?
Yeah.
How did they get that? Did they buy it or was it adopted?
My son bought his, and we adopted. There was
Oh, you have one too?
Yeah. And like ours was there was a handler in the Army who was arrested. So we became a foster parent to the dog, and then when the Army came to take the dog, my sons were, they were kids then. So my kids were like shocked. Oh, Daddy, don't let them take our dog. And the Army, the guys from the Army saw that, and they said, "I'll just keep them." They literally gave us a Belgian. Yeah.
Your ears must have been burning this morning. I was talking to you over at Jiu-Jitsu.
Did you?
Yeah, a guy would stop telling me how he graduated from West Point and telling me his story and the difficulties of getting in. I said, well, I got this friend and both his sons got in.
Yeah. My second son got in easy. My first son, not so easy.
Behind your back, I tend to brag on you, but in front of you, to your face, I typically make fun of you. But
yeah, it works out. That's a good military way of doing stuff. For those of you who don't know Gar is an MSP, cybersecurity expert, great company. I mean, we go back before I had my company. He and I worked together like decades ago, so it was good stuff. Okay, so we're going to jump into it. So I think most of you know this is personal for me, right? Where by sharing, the life journey, some key best practices that are at least worth thinking about to create options. Each of us can compress time, right? Instead of learning the hard way, going slow, if we can share experiences together, instead of taking maybe years, you can do things in a year, maybe a few months, that kind of stuff. And there's enough going on. Let me make sure everybody's admitted here. There's enough going on in the world where things are moving fast, right? The political environment, the technology. Is anybody trying to get their hands around AI to understand how to, AI agents, AI employees, AI this, AI that? Anybody trying to do that? Besides, it's massive, right?
It's huge.
Yeah.
Got a colleague that's doing that. Yeah.
I'm definitely going to need a lot, Kirk.
Yeah, you're going to need a lot, William, huh? For all the stuff you're doing.
Absolutely.
We're doing a lunch and learn on it tomorrow. You came to one of our events for AI. We had 24 people coming, and there was like 50 that got waitlisted.
Wow.
So we're specific on Copilot because we're a Microsoft shop, but
Yeah.
everyone's interested. You say AI and people come to your events.
Yeah, Gar, is that a virtual event?
No, that's a lunch and learn. It's in Tyson's Corner at the Ruth Chris. So it's essentially what you came to. So in an hour, Reed does a whole demo. We serve a steak, some sides, and a dessert, and get people out in an hour. Last one, people stayed for like 2 hours because there's so many questions.
Yeah, well, some people here are local, like Rob is really close to that. I mean, so if you want to, in the WhatsApp group, if you want to share what you're doing to help each other out, I mean, please do it. The whole idea is that we're creating a community where we can figure stuff out together. And I happen to know all of you on various levels, and there's a lot of expertise in this room. So I'm going to invite you to join. I'm also going to drop. I created a WhatsApp group for AI to collaborate because we're literally every week we're investing time and money, and for ourselves, how do we embrace the AI employee, and for our clients, because productivity, capacity, it's going to be redefined. And if we miss that on the financial side, we're not going to get the same outcomes we need to with clients, profitability, revenue, valuation. So definitely, you all who are speaking up, I mean, Gar, definitely jump in and share your expertise. There might be people that you can work with together, again, to compress time. There's something to be said about the right experts, right, to make things happen. So I think everybody's in now. And this is personal, where everybody can live the life they're born to live. I'm gonna get into. I'm gonna anchor everything that we do with the Freedom Platform, because in a very real way, the Freedom Platform makes a difference between, hey, we had a nice session, we learned something, and then 5 minutes later, when you go back to your life, you forget about it. With the Freedom Platform, it's there. If you make a task, it's there. Every time you log in, you get a dashboard, you got project management, you can see, are you getting the outcomes you want? Are you doing that? Are you taking the actions to get the outcomes you want, or not? So it's pretty, from the standpoint of being proactive and intentional, the Freedom Platform for me was the difference between these things not being done literally for years. Some of this stuff stayed in my Word document plan for 3 to 5 years, no action. The minute I created the Freedom Platform, we're like, I literally got at least 80% done in the first year, right? And some things are still tracking. And I like that. I own property and businesses and all this kind of stuff. And I'm not a billionaire, but life is okay. And with property, if I didn't have asset protection, somebody does a slip and fall. I got property in DC. You pretty much, if you're a tenant, you pretty much just got to say, I want to take the landlord's property, and that's all it takes, and my property's gone, right? And I'm exaggerating, but the laws are not favorable in DC for landlords. I mean, it's some wild stuff. So we're gonna hit risk management at some point. If you got something, how do you protect it from different things? But first, where we started is your vivid vision, right? What's a destination? You can feel it. It's already done. You're there. So we had the document, the worksheet. We used AI, and Agar shared with us the sono. If you want to make a song, you want to make a meditation, AI can help you. That kind of stuff. So for your vivid vision, I'm going to ask you to open your Freedom Platform and do this real time, because all you got to do is break the ice. And once you start realizing how easy it is, first time through, it looks kind of, this is new. But once you do it a few, 1, 2, 3 tasks in the Freedom Platform, like, this is what it does. And now my life is so much easier. And it's not just a task system like Basecamp. It's tasks related to your, what you want out of life and the flight plan to get there. Okay? So following along, that's a good place to put that. That's my summary of my vivid vision. And then you can link the full document right there. If you put the full document into this thing, you can do that, and it's your life. Do what you want. The full document fits here. It's just going to push everything else down below the break. the dashboard. Okay, you guys with it? You good? Vivid vision. Okay. Before the 5th session is over, we're going to set up objectives so you can see where you're tracking. You'll be able to choose the timeline, how you're tracking compared to your destination. So all this becomes measurable, metrics that you can literally flight plan. I'm over, under, where do I want to take action, and it's the task where you take action. Okay, then we came through, and we did this real time. Like for my vivid vision, I said, well, I want to spend more time with people I love. Heck, I want to spend more time with people I hate. I just want to spend more time with people, right? So literally, real time with you guys, I'm going to actually do the same. Take something from your vivid vision, add it to your bucket list. You literally do that. Let me do the clicks again. This is your heat map. You can see your life. You can heat up every line item if you want. I like to be focused, so I don't do that. I just focus on, I color code what I'm focused in on. So hit bucket list, comes into the list view, and you can add bucket list. You can add things just by clicking that plus sign right there. And you can drag things up and down, right, based on your priorities, all that kind of good stuff. And you score it. You can write details in your plan. Block off one recurring week per month. This is what I did immediately after our session last Thursday. Right? I scheduled a trip March. I'm going to go to the beach, and then on April I'm going to Austin, and I got to figure out what to do in May. Right?
Do you add these bucket lists in the plan plus section?
Yeah.
The column plan?
Yep. You literally just hit this, and then
Oh,
give
so
it a
that's
name.
the bucket list. Okay.
Yep. Give it a name. Save it. And you can do the reverse. You can click on something and you can delete it if it's no longer of interest to you. All right. I'm even looking so far forward, I don't even have grandkids. And I want to be involved with them. Right? Can you imagine my poor son if he sees this? Like, man. Right?
Pressure.
Yeah. And so for me, something to look forward to. And I truly believe in freedom. So there's no pressure. I told him if he don't make them, I'll make them. Right? No pressure. Okay. So beautiful thing is real time. You start, something might occur to you, 4 or 5 days from now, real time, you can drop it in. And the plan, make a short list where you're taking action. You might score it, you might not. You might pick it in your top 3. I already got my top 3 picked, so I can't choose it again. Won't let me do that. The score is what makes the heat map, and then the top 3 is you're just forcing. What are you going to focus on? I believe in focus, right? Is it easy? Seems pretty easy. You guys, you getting stuck anywhere?
So by default, it seems, Kirk, the my future self is one of the objectives, and then when you expand that, vivid vision's there. So let's say it's something we feel is complete and we're living it. We've got our meditation, all that. What state should it be in, and what priority is it at that point? The score, for instance. I mean, if it's something that you feel like, okay, I'm done with it, boom, I've put it aside. What happens at that point? What do you?
Yeah. So no, there's certain things that are hard coded, like vivid vision, inner work, Kirk project. You can't delete that. It's in the structure of the life.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason why I have certain structure that you can't change is because at some point we'll build analysis in for people, right? Where potentially AI could say, hey, maybe we should figure out our destination, right? When you have the AI buddy built into this, hey, what's that? Right? So certain things are hard coded, even on like financial resource, certain things are hard coded. Because I want to be able to build on the roadmap as the AI buddy over this. I can have individual collaboration and coaching with different users. And so these you can't delete. The ones that you create, you can literally delete them. You click on it, you can delete them. Okay. And so if it's something that is not active, you'd show something like this, unassigned, there's nothing going on here. Okay. Does that work for you, Rob?
Yeah. Another, I think I asked this last week in the chat, something like when you mentioned if you did your vivid vision in the field and not, just a quick summary and a pointer off to like a Google Doc. If you were to take feedback, I would say, can't you make that an expandable field too, so that you could leave it small most of the time so you see your real dashboard. But if you want to see it in line, you just expand it and see it. Is that the sort of feedback you're looking for as beta users or not?
It is. And it makes it user more useful. So are you talking about here, Rob, making this more usable, expandable?
Make it collapsible. Yeah, so you could not have to go elsewhere to see the vivid vision. It would be more in your face. You would just be able to expand it to read it and then close it back up to not.
Yeah. That's duly noted. Okay. So that makes it easy. One place, that kind of stuff. And okay, so we got your bucket list, vivid vision, going to your bucket list. What things might you do?
So you have optimal health and energy on the bucket list, and I would think of that something that you're constantly working at because I remember seeing your vivid vision last week, and they had that similar. What if you said you had a very specific goal of losing 50 pounds or something like that? Where do you fit that in such a way that it's not like something I haven't done yet, but I'm gonna, to make it something that's a little more active?
Yeah, you could put it in your bucket list, specific, or you can put it into a project management. What are you going to start doing to do that? Like, I don't know, work out, that kind of stuff.
Okay.
So wherever it fits for you, like if it fits on your bucket list, if the way you think about your life, if it's not a bucket list item, don't put it there, right? Put it on something you want to start. I want to start going to the gym. I want to start doing this. If you want to measure, like let's say weight loss or something, you want to measure a certain weight, you could set that up into, we'll come to objectives later on, where you could set that up, where you could track your weight if you wanted to be that bold.
Okay.
Right? That intentional. Okay. Okay, good questions. And then the last kind of thing to look at this is all the flight plan. You got the heat map view, you got the list view, you can expand all, collapse all. And then you got what I call the matrix view, where you can focus more on the plan. And if you're going through everything, you could expand it all, and fill stuff out. You click on this, you can fill in plan items. A little bit overwhelmed. This is not a tax form, right? This is not top to bottom, right? It's not a form to fill out. You can see for me, I've been using this for the better part of over a year. And I'm not trying to overthink my life. Maybe I should think some more, but I don't, right? And the beautiful thing about this, you can expand all, where you can see all the fields. And I can hide the roles that don't have any value in the plan, right? So now I can see in a short list. This is the stuff I'm focused on. Like this is what I'm doing for my health. This is what I did for the 1 week per month to travel. The family bank, I'm learning. They're figuring out cybersecurity and insurance, right? So it's not overwhelming now. It's literally 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 fields. And you might have 1 or 2, you might have 15 or 20. It's your life, right? Okay, useful? Okay, this is how I got my life together. Finally.
Hey, Kirk, I had a quick question. So it's really cool that you're doing this. This is Manny. Hi, everybody. So once you kind of plug in all the information, what's your cadence to review this? Are you doing it like daily, weekly? Like I'm just curious, because I know we all have different applications, right? And I find that sometimes, your method maybe different than Gar's method. And, sometimes I'm more like, I have like my I have a vision board, right? When I wake up to it, right? So I just want to understand, like with this type of application, how are you reviewing? What's your cadence for like a daily reminder, I guess?
Yeah, for me, once a plan is set up, I more or less do my planning going into the next year.
Okay.
I might step back once a quarter.
Okay.
and work on my business, work on my life, right?
Okay.
And reflect, well, what did I do on these things?
Yep.
So that's kind of from a planning side. I'm not planning every day, right? Like here's the blueprint. I'm not doing anything like that. But I find it, once a quarter to look at things, then once in a
Okay.
year go a little bit deeper. The same way I would do for a business. And then
Okay.
on a daily basis, I'm only looking at what's in my dashboard, right? What do I have to do today,
Gotcha.
right?
Okay.
So at that point, I'm focused on action. Like in the health, it could be sign up to the gym, right? Then if I signed up to the gym to make sure I go to the gym every day, I'd put the recurring invites on my calendar.
Okay.
Right? I signed up. Now I wouldn't make a task. Go to the gym on Monday. Go to the gym on Tuesday. That's kind of make me crazy.
Right. Got it.
Right. Would something like that work for you, Manuel?
Yeah, no, that's great. No, I just wanted I was just curious on how you're applying it. But yeah, that's great. Thank you.
Yeah. So action, right?
Yep.
Okay. And the follow the bouncing ball. Hello, Amy. Okay. Last week when we clicked on completed to-do list, I was afraid to click on this, but I don't know what's going to show up. It didn't show, so we fixed that glitch. I think Loretta, you pointed that out. So we fixed that glitch where it shows, and you can sort it based on dates, and you're gonna have a list of everybody on your success team, like CPA, lawyer. If you add,
Can you show how to restore it? Because I was just in there and I didn't know what to actually click to restore it.
Yep. If you open it up, unclick it.
Oh, unclick it. Okay.
Yep. Then it'll go back to the same location that it was.
Okay.
I'm gonna keep it clicked, otherwise my account will be like, what am I doing? I did it again. I already did that. Okay. So if you find a glitch like that, because we're taking what we do on the growth CFO side for business building, there's a business flight plan, created the life flight plan. In the life flight plan, there's a lot more security and privacy because you may not want your accountant CPA to see your bucket list. They'd be like, what are you doing? Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So there's a lot more slicing and dicing of the data, who can see what, versus in the growth CFO business building module, you can just, okay, you can see stuff. So if you see a glitch, definitely let me know, okay? So I do appreciate that. Okay, so you got the PM, okay, and then just to emphasize, I start my day off on the dashboard, and I'm, beyond my calendar, I might do 1, 2, or 3 things, and that I make sure it shows up here. All right, I like to focus on one thing. Okay, you guys good with the platform? How it helps? You can see where your vision comes in. Now you made your bucket list. Okay, so let's take the next step. Let's figure out the money, right? How much money do you need to live that vivid vision? And so for that, we have the household income worksheet. And this worksheet has multiple tabs, like time, passive income, all that. So as not to be distracted, because some people love spreadsheets, some people don't, right? So the focus a little bit, let's just focus on the household income worksheet, okay? And we're gonna go through 5 levels of household income. We do it real time, right? So that we come out of this session with what you need. And here's the caveat, and it may say, I'm a finance guy. A lot of finance people like things tied out to the penny and stuff. That's not a finance person. That's an accountant, and they should tie stuff out to the penny. For us, we don't want perfect. We want to just go through, get an answer, rough order of magnitude. What do you need in your life to achieve the different levels of financial outcomes to really live your vivid vision? And you're going to find that probably for a lot of us, certain, the earlier levels, you met those. You definitely want to get down, when we start talking about absolute freedom and generational level, generational legacy, maybe there's some aspirational things, okay? You don't have to know the right number. You can estimate, I think that costs this amount per month. That's fine. That's all you need. You're looking for a rough order of magnitude to define the financial resources you need to live your life, okay? And makes sense. Are you guys good with that? You don't have to go out and do research and hire Price Waterhouse to do studies and stuff, right? In this day and age, I mean, you can ask AI really fast, whatever your favorite AI is, okay? Okay.
Where was the link for that, Kirk?
It's in the WhatsApp group.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah, I drop everything there to make it easy. In part, I want to encourage you guys to collaborate, introduce yourself. Then over time, this group keeps building and looking, intentionally outside of the session, introduce you guys to each other so that you can do something remarkable together. But drop everything there.
I didn't see this here, Kirk, but I got a similar Google sheet from a financial planner, and probably the biggest numbers in our family are the insurance ones, like auto, health, property, stuff like that. And I don't see that kind of accounted for here. Are we free to just do what we want if we want to throw in new columns or rows, I should say?
Yeah, I think we'll see. I think we'll see insurance there when we get through it, but if not, we'll add it.
Okay.
But yeah, everything's customizable, and I'll kind of talk. Let's define what the categories are, and then you redefine what it's your life, right? If certain terminology means different things to you, you define it the way you want. You can change the terminology, right? I'm big on flexibility. If certain terminology really matters to you, use that terminology. As a starting point, we're going to define security as the basics. You got a place to live, you got food, you got transportation. Then vitality, you're doing a little bit more. Maybe you got some extra clothes on. Hopefully you got clothes on even with basics. Dinners, entertainment, right? Freedom, more recreation, vacations. Some people start a business at that point. Yep. Amy, you're not in the WhatsApp group? I'm going to drop you in. I'm going to drop in the link here. Let me just do that real time. Yep. This is the link. Okay. Social media. Okay, freedom. Okay, then absolute freedom. Probably most of us are okay on the first levels. Maybe freedom, absolute freedom. It could be a second home, better vacations. Like at this point in my life, my sons live way away from me, so there's a little more travel involved to see them. And then generational, right? So some people are thinking about multi-generational impact. Some people don't care about that, and it's your life. Do what you want, right? I was talking to a friend last week, and he's like, "Man, have fun." Right? And we'll talk about maybe set them asset protection. It could be now or some point in the future. How do you optimize tax? But whatever you define it as, some people want to leave stuff for their children. If you're doing that, we should definitely talk. I'm a trustee for certain families, and man, oh man, I'm big for investing, like for the next generation to be equipped and skilled. I'm not big on giving multi-generational wealth on a personal level, just by seeing, man, ooh, right? Oh boy, Manuel, you might have some insights into that kind of stuff. So I'm going to manage from the grave. Let's just say it that way.
Nice.
Right? Okay. So orientation, kind of the what and the why, right? We want to create a black and white number for these different levels of financial outcomes that are aligned with you living your vivid vision. And I think I'm going to be really interested to see what you find, because you might find, oh, I'm already black and white number is not right what I expected. Sometimes when I talk to business owners, hey, what do you need to be financially free? And the number that always comes up, not always, but a lot of time comes up is 100 million. And somebody, this is America. If you want 100 million, go do it. But probably you don't need that to really be free. And then whatever that different number is, it's the probability, the timeline to achieve that, the relationships that you won't sacrifice. It's worth at least considering. So by doing this, it gets pretty black and white. Where, in my case, when I did this the first time, I was like, not so bad, not so far off, right? Breathe. enjoy life kind of stuff. That's what my friend was telling me last week. Okay, so we're going to go through the worksheet. And the way I designed the worksheet is any cell that's highlighted in yellow is something that's a variable that you could key in information. So some things might apply to you, some things might not. And then for each section, it'll summarize it here. So we'll come back to the top, and you can see the number and what it adds up to as an annual level of income. And then maybe start thinking about strategy. How do we get there, right? Just start opening at least possibilities. Okay, so if we do that, you guys, we'll do it together, real time. And Amy, are you in the WhatsApp group now? Okay, I'm gonna load that worksheet so that you have it. There you go. Fly in the plane in real time. Okay, so that's there. Okay, and again, don't let the perfect answer slow you down. Don't worry about the how. We just want it. The outcome is a black and white number.
Hey.
Yep, and it's designed where you can customize. You can add rows. There's some fields in each category where you can customize it, X, Y, Z. And if you need more rows, you can always add more rows, as long as you copy the formula down. It'll work out for you. Okay, makes sense. Does anybody love spreadsheets like I do in here? Yeah, I always feel like you can organize the world. You organize the universe. Two-dimensional universe.
Beautiful spreadsheets.
Beautiful, right? Things add up.
Your spreadsheets are beautiful.
Oh, you like them? Good.
I do.
Good. And there's something about trying to keep things simple where it's useful. But yellow is a cell to highlight. So just going along with you, these are not my real numbers, and I wish they were. Right? Can you imagine $1,000 mortgage? Woo! Right? I'm just plugging stuff in, but just based on what I think. I'm not complaining in taxes because I'm Texan. I hate taxes. I don't mind paying taxes if it's used well. I'll say it that way. I'm just not so sure it's being used well. Especially the school, man. Come on. What are you doing as your kids? Okay, so that in my case, that's what I did. Mortgage $1,000, food $500, transportation $500, utilities $324. Totals up to $2,324 a month. And then the column next to it is just times 12, it annualized the monthly amount. You guys good with the mechanics here? Any challenges that you want to talk through? Okay. And the same thing. So I don't know about you, but okay, that was my 20s for sure. I'm just trying to find a place to live. And then medical insurance came later. I got to eat before I worry about the doctor in my 20s, especially. Okay. How much do you guys pay? What's that? Okay. Hey, I'm curious. My medical insurance is $1,000 a month for just me, and it's another $1,000 for my wife. I think that's crazy. You guys got a better rate?
Kirk, you should have talked to me
Holy
a long time
cow.
ago. I can do way better than that.
Well,
Way better than that.
William, let's talk.
Those are insane
Hey,
numbers.
I'll give you a buzz. I'll give you a buzz later on.
Yeah, and I'm healthy. But I hate to pay for something and then not use it. So I'm about to get real sick.
We're paying $936 for myself and Carla. Kirk.
For two of you.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, William. Wow. My CFO brain's going, wow, that's $12,000 a year. All right. Wow. And the worst thing, I went to the hospital like one time in 10 years. So imagine how much I paid. And they sent me a bill. They should send me a basket. Thank you for being, hello, thank you. No expense. I mean, come on. I understand the funder is different than a provider. I get it. It doesn't matter to me. Okay, clothing, dining. Right? Sort of vitality. This is probably not vitality level stuff. I mean, still survival mode, but you're probably past that. I did 200 for dining. I mean, you like that word indulgences, little luxuries? Cute word. Huh? I have no idea what it means. Right? And then you can customize. It's your life, but whatever matters to you. So I came up with 1350. Okay, same logic. Everything I do is very consistent. Like if you learn how to do one thing in the platform, it'll apply to everything else. If there's a difference, there's an intentional reason behind it. Just try to make it easy. So if we do the same logic, kind of going through financial freedom, vacations. I mean, how much per month are you going to save for vacation, liability insurance? I'm doing 500. I actually do more on charity. Just stop helping people. All right. Just plugging numbers in. Try not to put the real numbers in for myself, but I scare myself that way. Okay. I came up with 1,700 just as an example. And that's freedom. So another 20,000 a year to get, and this is we'll see what it means incrementally up to the top summary. Another 20,000 hits freedom. Okay, absolute freedom might be doing better vacations, safari, South Africa, somewhere, Turkey, Morocco, someplace exotic. Okay, whatever else it means to you, like where you can breathe. Like my neighbor loves race cars. I mean, he loves them, right? He's like a kid with a fire truck kind of stuff. He loves that stuff. So maybe racing, buying a race car. Who knows? It could be a second home. For me, it would be Florida, right? Or I say Florida, but I'm thinking, man, Florida doesn't have, even in the winter, Florida doesn't have enough daylight for me. So I might keep going, like down to Colombia or Ecuador. I want daylight energy. So probably not Florida, probably keep going. I speak a Spanish. All right. I just want daylight. I don't care what else is going on. Daylight and beach. Okay. So maybe, right? Are you with it? Absolute freedom. If you're not into the aspirational stuff yet, this is the place to hit it. Like don't worry about the how, but what would really be nice, whatever it is for you. Right? Not worrying about the how, but aspirational stretch. Let's put a black and white number to it and figure out how to get there. Okay? And the last one is generational. Right? Who knows? You might be setting up your estate, asset protection. Probably be wise to do asset protection before that, but we'll talk about that in the next session or the fourth session. For me, I want kind of a nonprofit to bring people along, right? Do what we're doing right now, right? I think people could benefit with some kind of group, financial flight plan, destination, something that they care about. Not reinventing the wheel. Okay, you guys good? That's probably the last two sections, absolute freedom and generational. If you haven't been aspirational before that, this is a place to really stretch and take off the limits. Well, what if? And the great thing about the spreadsheet, maybe there's some things, we're going through the mechanics right now, that maybe 2 days from now, something occurs to you, like, wow, it would be cool. What if? Right? Some people like boats, some people like cars, travel, whatever. Something might occur to you. Something might happen in your life where you're inspired. Okay? Now, I think it's cool to bring other people along, but you don't have to be, you don't have to. You don't want to, don't do it. I did enough for my children, and that's it. Right? So when you do that, this is what you end up with on the top in the summary section. Right? For each category, we show the incremental monthly amount, 2,000 for security, 1,000 for vitality, 1,700 more incremental amount for freedom, absolute freedom 2,000 more, generational 3,000 more. So it literally comes. You can see each level. To be on freedom, freedom, I need 5,000 a month. To hit all my goals, I need 10,000 a month. Right? And then that's translated to what's the annual number for each. You got the monthly incremental amount and the cumulative amount for the annual level. And in this example, 124,000 does it. I remember thinking that, wow, like 150,000 does it, right? Or something like that. 100,000 does it. And then I got into life. Okay. I decided to live in DC. It would have worked just fine in Texas. Right? Change location. You guys, how are you doing so far? Anybody stuck anywhere or just kind of going through it? So you got a black and white number? This
is great, Kurt. I've seen a couple of different spreadsheets out there, but this level of detail is really cool, man. So thank you for doing this.
Yeah, are there any surprises from Manuel or anybody else where like, it's either more than I thought or less than I thought?
I'm going to share a screenshot of this other one that I'm using that has so much more detail, and it's, you really should be able to put real numbers in most of these. I mean, literally have a breakout for electric, gas, water, landscaping. It's worth the investment of figuring out either a monthly or annual amount for these things. And I don't, to be honest, Kirk, I don't think you have enough detail. I like your splits based on the reach, like financial freedom and so on. But I just think there's so much practical there. Like, and even your numbers are crazy right now with your $1,000, $500 for food, so on. The crazy underestimated. And I just think a lot of this stuff you should be able to tie into your actual bank account, actual credit card use, and get some deliberate numbers if you haven't disciplined yourself to keep track of them. Anyway, that's my observation. But I'll share. I don't know if I can make this particular sheet public.
Can you share it to the WhatsApp group?
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm going to do. So
yeah,
but it'd be nice if we could expand, like for yours again, if you could expand it to be more inclusive. People can have blank rows, but literally, I mean, my property taxes, we own our homes outright. We don't pay anything for quote rent or lodging, but property taxes are ridiculous, right? So that's a big one, and I like to know that that's the cost. I like to see that that's the cost, to understand where the money's going. So I'd rather have more things to put stuff in than to have these kind of lumpy numbers that you're not sure what the real numbers are inside of them. So
yeah, that's something good. Is people are different, right? Like in your case, you're an engineer. You like the details. Some people get hung up on the details. So it's definitely, expand, put the level of detail that makes sense to you, that maps. You want apples to apples. However you actually live, you want in whatever model you're using, you want the exact terminology and line items. Whatever line items you have in your real life, you definitely want to have those apples to apples, right? Where there's no like apples to oranges is hard to compare. Like, I'm different than my plan. If it's apples to oranges, it's hard to figure out where I'm different. But if it's apples to apples, the exact terminology you use, how you think about your expense categories, then it's just easier to just keep that flight while you're over, under, left, right. You can make those corrections. So that, Rob, if you can upload that to the WhatsApp, that'd be great, so people can see. If they want to build out more detail, they can do that.
I will. And again, it's not mine. I got it from some guy I saw on YouTube, just a random guy that offered this as something you could just grab. So I'll go back to the source too, and maybe just point to his stuff. But for now, I'll just share this one Google sheet and see if I can get it visible for everybody. So.
Yeah, that's perfect. and people can adapt the tools based on what they want to do. Good. Anybody else? That's good feedback. Some people like more details, some people like less. And like, how are you? Any surprises from doing this for yourself? You good? Feel free to save those resources, right? No, yeah. Feel free to share those resources on the WhatsApp group, because who knows, right? Who knows who can benefit from it? Okay. Let's kind of Okay, 5 levels operational, and definitely use your best estimate. If you need to, you can go your bank account, that kind of stuff. But sometimes I've seen people get hung up on having the exact right number, and then 5 weeks later they still don't have an outcome that they can use to start to fly the plane. So let's coming back to the top. You got your numbers in, you got the level of detail that works for you in the different categories. Depending on where aspiration starts, it could be at any of these levels. Like, I have a group of guys who are in their 20s doing this. They reach security, but they're kind of between vitality and freedom. So that's where they would start to work on, what can I do to get the next level of, income. And broadly speaking, I want to frame it this way. The place to get income, you got active hours like work, right? You have passive income, right? Your investments, that kind of stuff. Some people have pensions, right? I missed that boat, right? For the most part, I think government has pensions, and I know the military does. It may be law enforcement, police, that kind of stuff. Has anybody worked in the business that has pensions for employees? That's kind of, does it apply to anybody here? Okay.
There's a few ministries will do pensions as well, like Young Life does. But yeah, mostly it's just federal and state and local government workers. There are maybe some other big companies that are doing it, but
yeah,
I had a nice little pension when I was an educator.
Mhm. I think the pensions, as I read it, ended in 1990 for a private sector.
when is that, Amy?
I think the pensions, as I read it, ended in 1990 for the private sector.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they went into the 401ks instead, which is not nearly as
Yeah, defined contribution versus defined benefit and stuff. Yeah, and that
yeah.
I remember when I was taking the CPA exam. There's all kinds of stuff about pension accounting. I swear to God, I would never be in a place that had pensions, and I ended up someplace with a pension. Right?
Yeah, there's still some places out there that do pensions in the private sector, but it's few and far between at this point anymore. They mostly put the responsibility off on the employee.
Yeah.
Yeah, but there's Social Security, right? There's passive income. It could be real estate. It could be public investments, private investments, pensions if you have it, Social Security, 401ks. So
create your own pension.
Yeah. What do you mean by that, Stacy?
There's tools out there, vehicles out there that you can use and fund and create your own pension that will give you an income that you can't outlive. Could be taxable, could be tax-free.
Cash value life insurance, like index universal life and stuff like that.
Even some annuities that you could put money into. I mean, there's all kinds of different vehicles you could use to create essentially a pension for yourself. I mean, even so, I know for federal employees, the thrift savings plan, which is the largest 401k, essentially, it's not a 401k, but in the world, they will offer to buy out your account and then basically pay out that annuity to you to basically create that other pension type vehicle.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've done those for clients that put in 10,000 a year, and I have clients that are putting in 7 million a year for those things. And that's what we do.
I said there's a lot of experience in this room, and so we're going to come to financial resources needed. So that we're going to build on this, because the whole idea is you got active hours, and then as time goes on, most people want to work fewer active hours. Some people still want to be engaged, some people don't at all. So how do you get income coming in through sources that don't require, you actively rolling, getting stuff done? And then there's the third category of income is like what other people do. It could be if you own a company, you have employees, that kind of stuff. It could be affiliate programs. As business owners, you introduce people who do business together, and there's some kind of preferably a monthly recurring, revenue share or something like that, right? So we were talking more about some of these strategies when we talk about time, how to get time down to where you can breathe more. I think we're coming out of the industrial model, right? Where the industrial model is, if you need more, you work more, and it's pretty brutal to be able to do that, across 40, 50 years. So okay, so strategies. Anybody have broad categories? Active hours, you want more, you work more. Passive income, assets that produce income. In some work situations, you can earn a pension. Okay. Social Security, it might still be around, right? Maybe. I would leave that as upside in your plan, where if it's there, cool, but you don't control it, right? So and then other people, other affiliate programs, businesses, that kind of stuff. Okay, from a category standpoint, is there anything that we met? There's lots of details, right? Like real estate, that kind of stuff. But from a category standpoint, is there anything that we missed that might be helpful if you're thinking about what strategy to use to increase income to cover the different levels of household need?
Well, I think, Kirk, that can boil down partly to tax strategy as well, because depending on whether you're W-2, 1099, K-1, passive income, doesn't matter what the income is coming from, but if you can reduce your taxes 30 to 70%, we've had clients reduce their taxes as much as 95%. Now that gives you a lot more cash flow that you have to work with to fund different vehicles, to pay your bills. Now, yes, we're working with higher income individuals, but it's relative, because as you start making more, your expenses generally go up. But what can you do to maximize from the tax side of things, optimize your tax strategy to maximize your ability to create wealth and your legacy?
Yeah, that's huge. And we'll talk about some of that in the optimization piece. There might be some unique strategies.
One of the things, Kirk, that I saw, and I need to look it up to see where it came from in terms of a Instagram post, was that in Switzerland, I believe, they don't have the same philosophies or culture as we do in the US, where they don't invest in real estate. And so when they are getting their paycheck, they're, creating assets, like they're investing in other things like stocks or other investments. And if they do invest in real estate, it's to, create an Airbnb or something for their business. And so they're, essentially renting where they live. And then their real estate is not like the hard asset that, yeah. So it's kind of interesting. I will find the article and I will send it to the group and everything and see what you guys.
That could be really useful, because there's this whole talk about the rent society versus the own society, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where a lot of wealth for like our generation has been based on real estate, but there's definitely a different track coming up, and I didn't know Switzerland was more orientated that way. That'd be a great article.
Yeah, let me see if I can find it for sure.
Yeah, anything that pokes at the frontier, the edge, to expand thinking. When you're doing your normal stuff in life, all of us, to share that kind of stuff. Really start creating options. Building a business as an asset, where it's not dependent on you for anything, not for sales, not for delivery, where you can transfer it and the value is optimized because there's something unique. For business owners, that can be useful, right? Where you get the second payday, you get household income, So you're living based on active hours, reduced active hours by building the business as an asset. And then the second payday is when you sell, right? And do smart things with it. That could be freedom for you, if you, maybe generational, that kind of thing. That's always fun. Okay, so if you had we'll in the next few sessions we'll get into more strategy, but I just want to frame it. Those are the categories. There's active hours, what you earn with your own time, passive income, and then other people. You know, affiliate programs, employees, that kind of thing. Okay, let's bring it in for a landing at the top of the hour here. So if you're in the Freedom Platform, starting to use it to get things straight, and I'll foreshadow by year end, if you own businesses or work in a business, I'm going to enable the business flight plan, same kind of thing, so you can see your life and your business all in one place. And if you have your team members in it, you can see what you can help keep them on target. But for us here, you know, we just went through the household income. If you're done, like you have what you need, rough order of magnitude that we can build from in the next session, click it off as done. If there's something more you want to do on it, hit edit. In this case, I'm going to assign it to Kirk, put my due date. What is today, the 13th? Right, and maybe I can make notes. I'm going to do X, Y, and Z, whatever it is. Right, I want to finish. Maybe I want to build out the detail like Rob is talking about. Maybe I want to get the actual numbers from my bank account, you know, whatever it is. So I get, since it's top of mind right now, I just make a note to myself, or it could be somebody else on my success team, but in this case, myself. And there it is. You'll see it in my dashboard. All right, two things do. Right there. Okay. So using the platform, because it might make the difference between follow through versus not follow through, and using the platform now is going to open up other things that you can do later on if you get the first step. Okay. Gonna come in for a landing on time, which I love doing that. Does anybody have anything they'd like to share for the benefit of the group? Were there any surprises from laying this out, your numbers? Good.
I'm more like Gar. I have to go into all the expenses and get some actual numbers versus estimated numbers.
You want the detail.
I like being a little bit more precise.
Yeah.
I just want to know what your actual number is, Kirk.
Uh-huh.
I don't have to do it. I'll just tell me what your number is. I'll make mine the same.
Okay. I don't want to scare myself, so I'll text you. I'll text you. Actually, when I did it, because I'm a low intensity guy. I like to build assets. I like to bring people along. And I was like, okay. So
well, it's just funny. You said 100 million. You talk to business owners about this a lot.
Yeah.
And then you said people always say 100 million, like that's the magic number. Just ironically or coincidentally, we just had for our employees, we had our 401k get on there just last week and walked through it, 2 sessions for our employees. And he said the most common number that he hears, now it's not business owners, obviously, but is 1 million. 1 million seems to be the walking around number for the average person to think that once they achieve that, they're ready to retire.
yeah, I think they're going to be in trouble. I think the average.
I do too. I'm just sharing. And he does too. He was actually advising. Well, I got to be careful with the word advising because we put it on and we're not advising our employees. But he was saying this is sort of an old school thought of 1 million.
Yeah, that number is. I don't get terrified by many things, but that number is terrifying that people are walking around with that number in their head because they're going to come up short.
Yeah.
And
especially with today's lifespan, right? Average lifespan.
Yeah, and that's that morbid game where you got to not outlive your money. With that level, you better start like jogging off cliffs kind of stuff as a hobby because man, it's going to be bad.
I agree that is a number that is definitely out big in the financial world.
The 1 million or the
for,
100?
for middle America.
The
But
1
it all
million?
depends. It is if you're going to be a bump on the log, sitting on the couch watching TV, millions probably going to do it for you. But if you want to have any sort of life after, especially for somebody that's in their 40s right now or early 50s, that's going to be a challenge. In my opinion, I think it is.
Yeah.
I think
Just sit and watch TV.
$1 million equals 40K, you know, this 4% rule kind of stupidity,
Yeah.
but it's like, you know, that's most people are living well, you know, most people I know are over 100K, just average Joes in the technology field. And for them to think that they're going to drop down to something like that is just, it's unrealistic. But some of the vehicles that, unless they get creative, are not going to generate that much for them anyway, because they have limitations. But,
Yeah. I was at least 2.5 for the average person just to be okay. 2.5 million. You know, I want to be at least above that. But I want to have fun. I want to go see people and do stuff. And I like having fun. I like talking. The more I know somebody, the more we talk, the more history there is doing stuff. I mean, that's fun. I want to be able to do that without worrying about, oh, who's paying the bill. Get up from the table to go to the bathroom and not come back.
Kirk's probably heard me say this a lot, but I've often said, because I work on this legacy thing a lot because of some other peer groups, but I've often said, you know, I want to work till I die. Maybe not in the role I'm in right now, but shit, I've always said I think a great job for me would be just a help desk person, because I love to help people fix computers. But just recently I've started to think, man, maybe that's not the right idea, because in an 8-hour-a-day job, I can't do a lot of the extracurricular fun things that we're talking about here that we want the money for, you know? So maybe I don't want to work till I die. I mean, it's a little outside the conversation, but it's just something I've been talking about a lot.
Yeah, that's good stuff. We're going to look at time and we're good at different stages of life. What do you want to do? And get some thinking around that. Be free. If you just have money, but you don't have time, all right, okay. With time and money, you got freedom of purpose, freedom of relationship, who you care about. And so, those 4 things.
Hey,
So
Kirk,
good.
do you mind if I just share a story about a current client that like kind of highlights everything we've been talking about?
Yeah, please do.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll try to do it real quick. So one of my very first clients when I came into this industry, business owners, they're now both retired. He's 75, she's 65. Actually, she's 67. And I was just talking to them yesterday. They're reaching out for some help because a year ago, they put their home up for sale. They're going to sell it for $1 million. They had all their assets tied up in that for the most part. And they're hoping to walk away with 650 or something like that. And long story short, because of not making sure they were protected and some mistakes and some things that just went against them, which is why protection is so essential, they got a check for $8,000 when everything was said and done. So now they have a check for $8,000 and they've got their Social Security, which equals about $60,000 a year to carry them through the rest of their life. And now they're calling me, asking me, like, how can we make it through? Like, I generally don't even work with clients at that level anymore. But like they're my first clients. I'm not going to leave them hanging, but they're saying, what can we do? Because when one of them passes away, they're losing $1,500 of income. So now they're down to $3,000, $3,500 a month in 10 years. What's that going to do for a person?
Yeah.
Because they could have taken steps with proper structuring, trusts, that they never did. And unfortunately, this is not a unique story. It's a heartbreaking story, but they can't even afford to pay rent. Their son is letting them live in their cabin. And it's just, man, when you're building assets, when you're a business owner, there's so much stuff that you can do. And that's why, like, what
I missed the part, Stacy, that you said. What was the critical thing that they ended up with the check for $8,000? Like, what was it that they missed?
Well, so they had declared, well, part of it, again, a lot of different things, lots of pieces in there. They had declared bankruptcy about a year, just a little before they put their house up for sale. because of business during COVID that went really, really bad. The lawyer thought everything had been cleaned up, so he told them to unfile bankruptcy, which they did. Then there were some liens that came against their place from something that was not even, they were not even aware, was not even their fault, and ended up that they like just lots of different things.
Yeah, like a lot of small little problems.
Yes, and had they taken steps to put that home in a place where it could not be attached, where nobody could access it, it's protected from lawsuits and.
I mean, like a trust or something like that.
Certain, yeah, it has to be a right trust structure. It can't be just any trust. It has to be a right trust structure. Like it's just sad. Like
that is literally our topic for next session. Is how do you? So now we've been talking about what do you care about. How, you have something from an asset standpoint, and then we're talking about how to protect it. So that's a perfect segue into the next session. Yeah, I've seen people get medical problems and they're wiped out. I've seen people operating businesses and then something happens and there's lawsuits for everybody.
Yeah.
And it's really stressful when everything you have is at risk. And some states protect your residents, but they're coming after, everything they can get their hands on. So we'll talk about that.
You say that's the session next week?
Next week. Is
That
that the week that you're out?
That's the one I have to miss.
You're recording it though, right, Kirk?
Yep.
What'd you ask, Rob?
I think Kirk's recording them, so at least you'll be.
You are recording
that.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
we follow EOS, and that's our quarterly EOS poll, so I can't miss that. But yeah, I'm glad to hear you recording it. That's very interesting.
Yeah, we'll do the session and pick up on the fall one to do it. And it's a good one because I just seen things happen. Good people work. You have something, then something happens that's relatively normal in life, and all of a sudden people want to, the lawyer does a search. They say, oh, but they do a search and find out you don't have a car to sleep in.
Alcohol.
They're not right. It's just going to be a different game.
Own nothing, control everything.
Okay, so we'll do. We'll land here. We're going to pick up there next week, and Gar we'll bring up the speed. Good stuff. Rob, you got something?
Yeah, just to be sure that. So we should have our financial model complete by next week. Is that having that and the Vivid Vision done? That's enough homework for being ready for next week, or do we have some other assignment to prep for?
Yeah, that's perfect from have complete to whatever level of detail is useful to you. Have it complete, and you have another tool that already does that. That's all you need. Later on, before session 5 is over, we're gonna put those numbers into the platform where you have the dashboard, the month-to-month dashboard, and you can track yourself, based on what you want at each point in time. So yes.
Okay.
Okay.
On that, I have something. So I'm I'm putting together a program for financial literacy that is for women. And so I really appreciate this group because I can leverage some of the things that are here and even some of you guys for resources for my people to go to. It's a lot more basic than your spreadsheet. So I think if I show people your spreadsheet, they're just gonna like just be really frustrated because they don't have it all set up that way yet. But I think the basics with it would be really helpful. And then lead them to the spreadsheet.
And Amy, for me, anything that you see that's useful, use it, because the whole idea is bring each other along in whatever way. And it's like that. Some people love spreadsheet and details. Other people, the minute you pull up a spreadsheet, it is conversations over.
Overwhelming.
There's no way to get them back. I used to like end CEO conferences by you just pop it up. I even tried one line on a spreadsheet, and there's no way. Right, with certain people, and then people are just different. So that's why you kind of find it, I think create a way where people can figure out what's right for them and use kind of stuff. But for me, anything that's useful to anybody, I mean, the more we bring each other along, the better. And because the world's changing, and it's I think we're in a second renaissance, but the transition is really hard. I think AI and blockchain, all these different things, robotics. So I created a WhatsApp group for AI, and I'll share the link, and I'm gonna start inviting people to it next week. And just because we're actively in the growth CFO world, how do we equip somebody where there's them and they got 10 AI employees, and being able to compress time and be more impactful is going to go up. So and I don't know how to do that. So I'm collaborating, that kind of investing time and money, but we're going to solve for that big time. So I'll put the link, and if you guys want to come in, and it literally just like the starting point is blank stares.
What I'm seeing.
Right? Like, I don't know. Maybe we should play the movie Terminator as a starting point. Right? This is where we're going, and we want to get there as fast as we can.
But
But I actually think it's gonna be better. It's transition. I don't think a lot of workers are going to transition. I think they're going to be lost. I think overall human thriving is going to be elevated. But I don't think a lot of people are going to make it. Like accountants, the chance of them really learning how to use AI, I think 75% won't ever do it. I mean, I might be wrong. Right, Jennifer? Yeah. So I'll drop the link in now. Join. I'm gonna start. Feel free to invite people. It's an open group. The life group is closed, just to us. Right, the kind of a high trust group. Anything else like the AI group is open, so you can invite people in, and we're going to collaborate. And I want to see people really doing well in life using whatever tools available. Okay, is that a good place to land it? We're going to build on this next week. Okay, asset protection. Okay. Hey, thank you for jumping in. I appreciate working with you all.
Thank you, Kirk.
Thanks, Kirk. Thanks, Tim.
Kirk.
Thank
you. See you
next week.
Next time.
See you soon.
Yeah.
Bye.
Thank you, Kirk.
My pleasure. See you.
Thank you, Kirk. Thank you, man. Appreciate you.
Good stuff, man.